Yes, that this puts the onus on Senator Obama. Might this in any way change his speech scheduled for tonight? We'll know soon enough. I'm Shepard Smith in New York. We're with you throughout the day on what may be a historic evening. Britt Hume and the best team around is going to be with us tonight, beginning 8 o'clock Central Time, 5 p.m. on the West Coast, to begin our election coverage, which will run late into the night. And in our newsroom right now, everyone is hard at work deciphering what all of this means. Right now, Neil Cavuto.
Down for the count now is Hillary Clinton down to making a deal. She has spent years trying to become president. Now talk is Hillary Clinton would be fine with vice president. There is that annoying detail of getting Barack Obama to go along with this, and what's more, getting him on board with that husband of hers playing a big part in this. But what to make of this at a certain conference call with Democratic leaders about this? Major Garrett in St. Paul, Minnesota has been going through all of it. He joins us for the latest. Major.
Well, let's unspool this story as best we can, Neil. This was a conference call with New York members of Congress and Hillary Clinton. One of them asked her if she would be willing to run as Obama's running mate because this particular member of Congress from New York, Nadia Velasquez, was concerned that Barack Obama on his own might not be able to win enough of the Latino vote to win the presidency. Hillary Clinton said she would be open to it in the context of being willing to do whatever it takes to help the Democrats win the White House this November. The Clinton campaign, and I just talked to the General Chairman, Terry McAuliffe, about this, says that's really all she was doing. Not a big departure from what she said in the past, that she's willing to do whatever it takes, roll up her sleeves, help the Democrats win the White House. But, Neil, you have to understand that today here in St. Paul, Barack Obama is on the cusp of an American historic breakthrough, becoming the first African-American as a likely nominee for a major political party. He wants the conversational arc in this country, at least in the political community, to be entirely about his historic breakthrough, not necessarily about the nitty-gritty details of who might or might not run with him. And Neil, I'm advised that we have a bit of sound from Terry McAuliffe. I just did this interview about 5 minutes ago. Let's take a quick listen.
She's open to doing whatever it takes to help the Democrats win this November. So she's open to anything. She's going to be involved one way or the other in the general election campaign, and that's the point she's trying to make. She'll do whatever it takes to help us win.
Involved in this campaign one way or the other. Clearly the Obama campaign would readily agree to that, but they want to make sure they set the terms, Neil, of whatever that is, and however Hillary Clinton's role is defined, not necessarily by her, but by the eventual and most likely nominee. Neil, back to you in New York.
Major, I don't want to put you on the spot, or even if anyone knows, but this congressman in question, was it Charlie Rangel of New York?
No, Nadia Velasquez. She's a member of the New York congressional delegation, longtime supporter of Hillary Clinton, and someone who spends a good deal of her time measuring and trying to figure out exactly where the Latino vote across the country is going to be. That question was raised in that context. But of course, Neil, Hillary Clinton could have answered it differently. She could have said, look, I'm focused on South Dakota and Montana, and she did say that in the conference call. But any conversation about the vice presidential running mate and that consideration, particularly today in these feverish hours before Barack Obama is likely to get that public declaration of all the support he needs to become the nominee, makes this an explosive story. The Clinton campaign had to know that, as much as they might try to minimize it now.
Oh, absolutely, Major. Thank you very much, Major Garrett. So would Barack Obama take Hillary Clinton on as his number two? Let's ask Joe Andrew. Joe is a former DNC chairman and Obama supporter. What do you think, Joe?
Well, Neil, as you know, it's just way too early even to speculate about a vice presidential nominee when I think all of us as Democrats want to bask in what is truly an historic night for Barack Obama to go over that line and for us to have this very courageous and very inspirational leader heading up the ticket. I think what we're all looking forward to is seeing Barack Obama now be able to not have a two-front war, but a one-front war with John McCain, and be able to get back to talking about those things that people around this country are really caring about, whether it's Iraq, the economy, those issues that we know that are going to be at the forefront over the coming days.
But nevertheless, Hillary Clinton does come into this with some strength. She can argue, look, I got just as many, if not, if you include Michigan, more votes than you, 17 million of them. I can make a compelling case for helping us win in swing states. Would it be unusual to try to talk deal at this stage?
Well, you know, the reason that I think all of this is not that big of a story is because of the fact that we all know that it's not unusual. Hillary Clinton has always said that she'd do anything she can to make sure a Democrat wins in the fall. Before, she said she thought it should be her, but still the same line she said.
No, it is different, Joe. If we take this at face value, this is the first time she has expressed a willingness to entertain the number two spot on a ticket.
Well, I take Terry McAuliffe at his word. What he just said was what she meant to say. And again, remember, this has been happening now. This is the second time today.
She said it. Terry McAuliffe didn't say that. She said
No. I agree with you, Neil, but what I'm saying is, but earlier today, right, we got reports that said she was going to concede tonight. Terry came out and changed that story. Here we got a story about what she said. I think what you heard is probably exactly what happened, and now Terry's coming out and trying to modify that a little bit. So again, it's a little hard for all of us to comment on it because we're not sure exactly, what she means and what she doesn't mean here. If it's new and different, then I think we'll all deal with that. But until we know it for sure, I think that most of us are going to do just what I'm doing, which is focus on a very big night for
Joe,
Barack Obama.
if you're the prospective nominee, let's say you're Barack Obama in this environment, and you have what seems to be sort of like an offer that, look, I will cease and desist if you put me on the ticket. She's not saying that so blatantly. But if the perception is that in the Obama camp, could she be doing more harm than good?
Well, it's clear that he's going to win the nomination, whether or not she is making an offer or not making an offer. So clearly the only strategic response to this, if it is a question of strategy, would be to ignore it right now, to go about making sure that you can take on John McCain on the issues that will actually determine who's going to be president of the United States. And so, again, I think that the only response you can have to this is that not sure what it means. It's interesting. I've asked her to help in the fall. I'm looking forward to her help in the fall. I know that she's going to help in the fall.
Yeah, but if she doesn't, Joe, I
that.
understand, Joe, but if she, real quickly, does not concede tonight or even hint of conceding anytime soon, could we infer from that that he gave her the cold shoulder?
Oh, I don't think he's ever going to give anybody the cold shoulder, but the least of which, obviously, Hillary Clinton. This is all about making sure that we can unify the party, and by definition, that means making sure that the Clinton supporters feel as comfortable as they can with Barack Obama. So I think you're going to see him do as he's done, which is continue to bend over backwards to make sure that he praises Hillary Clinton and that all of those in the campaign do the same thing.
Joe Andrew, thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Well, by the way, don't buy all this. Hillary Clinton has set her sights on the one rung lower thing on the bottom of the ticket. My next guest says she is still going for the top spot. Pamela Hayes is a Clinton fundraiser. She's a member of Count Every Vote 08. Obviously, you want this to go to the convention, so you and I were very briefly chatting in the green room outside here, and you were still trying to get your hands around this. What do you make of it?
Oh, I think it's very interesting, but I think what we really have to do, Neil, is just wait and find out who has the votes. We don't count our votes until, the week of August 25th. Nobody knows what's going to really happen until then. I'm happy that Senator Clinton will be working with the party. She's always said she's willing to do it. She's the type of person to do whatever she can to make things happen.
But Pam, would you have been in her camp all the way to the convention, obviously, but I've heard from a number of diehard Clinton supporters who would not if she doesn't get the nomination. One with me yesterday said, I'm going to vote for John McCain. Where are you?
No, I'm not there at all. I'm a Democrat. I think it's very important that, we let the process just weigh out. I think most people want to just want to make sure that Hillary Clinton gets a fair shake. She has 50% of, the popular vote. I mean, this is not just someone who has 30% or 20%. If we're not united as a group, we cannot do it. And that's the most important thing there is.
Well, let me ask you, Pamela, do you think that if Barack Obama made Hillary Clinton his running mate, a lot of those angry Hillary Clinton supporters who feel like their candidate has gotten the shorter end of the stick in terms of media coverage, treatment by the party, would be more inclined to support this ticket with Hillary on it?
I think they would. I think that Senator Obama has to give something. I mean, it's not just about falling back in line.
What if he passes her by, though, Pamela?
If he passes her by, he does it at his peril. It's just that simple. 50 and 50 will only equal 100 if you put it together. There are some very serious and adamant supporters that, just don't want to be in a situation where Hillary is not taken serious. You have to have some type of leverage. I think it's important that the Democratic Party just understand what's at work here.
So when you say that at his peril, if she's not on the ticket, that is at his peril.
Well, that's what I mean. You never know what's going to happen. I could tell you that I think it's important for us to come together as a party and do the best thing for the country. But, you know, if somebody willy-nilly thinks they could just, you know, turn off all the people that voted for Hillary Clinton and say, we don't like her, send her to the corner, they're sadly mistaken.
Very interesting. Pamela, thank you very much. Pamela Hayes.
Thank you.
What if she were the running mate for Barack Obama?
I would not vote for the ticket.
Why?
Because I still feel that Obama does not have the qualifications to steal the election away from Hillary Clinton.
Now, why do you say so? All right. Now, Harry Christian, she was the woman who became a YouTube sensation, the woman who said that even as a result of my question, Hillary Clinton were the number 2 to Barack Obama, she would still not vote for the ticket. She'd go to John McCain. She says her views are expressed, to use her words, by millions of other diehard Clinton supporters. Among them, Geraldine Ferraro. I don't know whether she'd actually jump fence at John McCain, but of course you know Geraldine Ferraro as an all-around class act and the first female vice presidential nominee in American history. She was Walter Mondale's running mate in 1984. Geraldine, always good to have you. What do you make of this?
Well, it's several things. I mean, I think I'm hearing from women from all over the country. Pam said she's heard from people. I was talking to her in the green room. And one of the producers here was saying that she's getting calls from all over the country from women. They're very, very, very angry. Now, will it make a difference?
Very angry about what?
About how Hillary is treated in the campaign.
Would they be less angry if she were on the ticket?
I think some of them would be.
Would you?
I don't think that that's sufficient for me.
Really?
Really? I really don't.
So you would vote for John McCain?
No, I did not say that.
You said that it's not sufficient for you.
At this point, what I want to see is more than that. It's fine to put Hillary on the ticket, but this is more than about Hillary. This is about how race and sexism has become part of this campaign, where both have been exacerbated in this country, and where sexism in this country. I sat at lunch with 3 of my partners today, and they said there was no sexism. People didn't like her because they're, white men. They said nobody. I mean, people just don't like her. Some people don't. I said that's fine. If you don't like her, you don't vote for her. But it's the sexism that I saw in the press. Do you know that we contacted Harvard, the Jones Torrenstein Media Institute? Do you know how they determine whether something is a negative story? They will only call it negative if 3/4 of it is negative. If it's 50-50, or I mean, if a story is negative,
so
it's negative.
What's your point?
My point is that people don't see where sexism is in this country. We've got to stop it, and I want this to be the last campaign that this comes up with, and I got to see what Barack Obama is going to do in leadership on this
you mentioned
before I turn around and say, yeah, I'm going to be there and support him.
All right, you mentioned the slight that a woman would feel. When we had this outraged woman on yesterday, she said that it works both ways. But without getting to that, the idea that there are racial underpinnings to this, have a listen to this, Geraldine. I want to get your thoughts on it.
The Democrats are throwing the election away. For what? An inadequate black male who would not have been running had it not been a white woman that was running for president.
I believe in equality for all. Why aren't we given the same equal rights? And I'm speaking about myself personally as a woman.
What do you think of that?
Well, the interesting thing was how crazy she was at that meeting, because she had just gone through that whole thing. Her hair was nuts and everything else. But then you saw that she was kind of rational when she was on your show. And
Most people are. They come back to being rational.
Yeah.
Even you.
Yeah, even I. But what she was commenting about was the frustration of what had happened for 6 months, and then have it happen at the Rules Committee too. That's past. I mean, that you don't deal with. But you can't say the same thing about these 2 issues of racism and sexism. Now, again, the sexism issue is the issue that is pushing a lot of these women away from this campaign. And the media, hey, you guys are really the darlings of the press as far as everybody is concerned, which kind of makes me giggle a little bit that they also say, yeah, they're fair and balanced. But the other thing, but let me make my second point. My second point, there's another group of people that they have to reach out to, the Obama people. And I'm not quite sure Hillary can bring those in.
But must he reach out to her?
Well,
must he offer her the number 2 spot, or she and her supporters are going to be so ticked off?
You know what? He would be best, and he's doing that already. He is doing best by not ignoring her, by reaching out and saying that she's
if he
fabulous
doesn't
campaign.
offer her that spot, real quickly, doesn't
words.
offer it, is there hell to pay for him?
With some.
With
some.
many?
With many women.
Okay, all right.
But not with those blue collar workers.
Gotcha. All right. Carl Rove's take on all of this after this.
Something in the way you move, little darling. Yes, there's something in the way you talk that make me realize there's something in the way you move that make me.
The 2008 Volvo S80 luxury sedan. Get together with yours at the Volvo Model Year-End event. Now's the best time to get an 08 Volvo. Event ends June 30th.
The Montana and South Dakota primaries. As the Dems make their final stands, get all the late-breaking results, the best insight, powerful analysis. Tonight, stay with the one team you know to trust, America's election headquarters.
Why are investors jumping to Scottrade?
Buy 500 shares online or 5,000. It's still $7 a trade.
You bet it is. The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't use it.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter retractable awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And our Sunsetter costs under $700.
But now you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $398 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too.
Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last for years. So call now to get this free awning idea kit with DVD, plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate.
But this is a limited time offer.
Call now.
Call now for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation.
Call 1-800-517-1889.
I've been waiting for so long. Now I finally found someone to stand by me. We saw the writing on the wall as we felt this magical fantasy. Listen, baby, I've had the time of my life.
Book now, save 50%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
Why are people switching to Scottrade?
Easy. There's an office around the corner from my house and one by where I work.
We aim to please.
Where the action is. On the floor.
I will be Republican now.
Behind the scenes.
That is the scene.
Complete convention coverage. Only one team gives you a front row seat. America's election headquarters.
All right, we're just learning now that Barack Obama, even before the results of Montana and South Dakota are in tonight, is 7 delegates away from clinching the Democratic nomination. Again, 7 delegates away. Those states have 31 delegates up for grabs. He is almost assured of clinching the Democratic nomination tonight. In fact, he might do that at the rate he's going with these so-called superdelegates in the hours before we get those results. But again, Barack Obama, on a day that Hillary Clinton seems to be indicating she'd be open to being his running mate, almost wrapping up completely the Democratic nomination. Now, to Connecticut and a new plan to bring relief at the pump. My next guest wants to force oil companies to offer customers cash discounts. With us now, Connecticut Attorney General Richard Blumenthal. Mr. Attorney General, always good having you. On this cash thing, Hess stations, a variety of independent operators do give you cash discounts. You're trying to force the issue for the rest of the guys?
Well, not so much force it, Neil, and by the way, thank you for having me. I'll try to be rational as well. What we want to do is enable the retailers, the gas station owners, or operators rather, who are franchisees to offer cash discounts when they wish to do so. Right now, many of these franchise agreements prohibit these cash discounts because the big oil companies which have credit cards in their name and receive a cut when their credit cards are used for purchases, prohibit in those franchise agreements the offer
well,
of
then
cash
let
discounts.
them die on the vine, and then their customers will go elsewhere, and then those companies will learn, hey, this is a stupid policy. But should you legislate
Well, except
that?
all of them are doing it. Good point, but all of them, unfortunately, except for Hess in our state, are banning these cash discounts in their agreements. So we're not accusing them yet, or at all at this point, of any antitrust collusion, but we want to make available to those small businessmen who want to offer cash discounts the opportunity to do so.
I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney General, we've had so much breaking news here, and I did want to get to this. I would not mean normally to give you such short shrift, but we are focusing on these Clinton developments, that she's open to the #2 spot, as Barack Obama is 7 away from the #1 spot for the Democrats. More after this.
After months of fighting and campaigning, it all comes down to tonight. Get results and analysis of the Montana and South Dakota primaries. Don't miss our special 2-hour primetime block.
Ever wonder how Cheez-It packs so much real cheese in such small bites? Well, now you know. Cheez-It, the big cheese.
Michigan's Dow Corning Corporation is the world leader in the innovative science of silicon. Their know-how now benefits Michigan's growing field of alternative energy.
Thanks to financial and business incentives from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, our joint venture, Hemlock Semiconductor, will invest more than $1 billion to expand its production of hyperpure silicon for solar panels.
Now is the time to bring your alternative energy company here, because wherever in the world you compete, Michigan can give you the upper hand.
Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I'm the guy that gives away the free computer learning lessons. Well, today I'm here to tell you about a great new product that many of you have been asking for. And here it is, how to buy and sell on eBay, and I'll give it to you free. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I can make you the next millionaire selling an attic full of baseball cards, but I can guarantee you that I'll teach you everything you need to know about eBay while cleaning out your garage and probably putting some money in your pocket at the same time. Now, I can do this because I know that once you try my lesson on eBay, you'll be so satisfied that the next time you need to learn anything about computers, you'll come back to Video Professor for all your computer learning needs. And with over 55 lessons on all of today's most popular computer programs, I know that there's more you'll want to learn. Don't forget, call now and I'll send you eBay or any other lesson of your choice free. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call 1-800-831-2115.
If you love football, check out Oregon's best high school players before they take their act to college. The tradition lives at the 61st annual Les Schwab Bowl. Les Schwab Bowl. All-star action Saturday, June 21st, PGE Park. Fun for the entire family as Oregon's top graduating players battle for statewide bragging rights. Get your tickets at the PGE Park box office, LesSchwabBowl.com, or any Ticketmaster outlet. LesSchwabBowl.com.
Good news, guys. The distributors are on board.
Comcast Business Class has visual voicemail, a tool that lets your small business see and hear the glorious fruits of your labor. And with digital voice options like unlimited local and long-distance calling and fax service, your small business has the same tools as the big guys. You hear that, big guys? Or do you want us to turn it up? Comcast Business Class. Turn your office on.
Call now to get Comcast Business Class voice for $19.95 a month per line when you sign up for any internet package.
All right, so much happening today. Barack Obama is, we're told now, 7 delegates away from officially wrapping up the Democratic nomination on a day that Hillary Clinton, the man who really dragged him all the way almost to the very end, certainly on the very last day for primaries, Montana and South Dakota voters voting today, indicated that she is at least open to the running mate spot with Barack Obama. No reaction, of course, from Barack Obama, whether to even entertain that. But keep in mind, with the 31 delegates at stake today, this would almost assuredly mean that Barack Obama will get at least 7 or 8 out of that, and probably more. and wrap it up today. We shall see. But Karl Rove was here not too long ago musing about the possibility that a lot of these superdelegates announce en masse. We were conjecturing, is that a word, conjecturing? Anyway, about this possibility and that this could be a fait accompli, as it appears to be. All right, the maestro joins us right now. Karl, what do you make of all this?
Well, sort of a weird day. I would have thought that he would have waited until tomorrow to pop out these superdelegates to push him over the top, but he's trying to do it with the elected delegates tonight. So he's rushing out these people today, sort of, to sort of prepare for his speech tonight in Minneapolis.
But is that sticking her face in the dirt?
You know, I don't understand why he has here at the end done that a number of times. They did it, first of all, on Saturday. That was a moment where Barack Obama could have emerged and been big and large and said, you know what? I'm 200 delegates, nearly 200 delegates ahead. I'm willing, or 175 ahead, whatever number you want to pick out of that. I'm willing to give her a 55 jump in delegates, which is what her net would have been if they'd seated Florida and Michigan both.
Yeah, you would have given him the whole enchilada.
Yeah, whole enchilada, and he'd still be ahead with most of those 200 superdelegates, thereby having a ready excuse to say he's the man, we're for him. And he didn't do it. In fact, on Saturday, they took their finger and shoved it in her eye on this issue of Michigan. They said, okay, we'll seat Michigan, half the delegation, but we need to take 4 delegates away from Clinton and give them to Obama. And it was sort of like, why? And then today I pick up the Wall Street Journal, and on the front page there's an article about how the Obama campaign is now going to reach out to the Clinton campaign to unify them. And the only 2 names that are in the article that they're reaching out to, they say Senator Daschle is reaching out to Leon Panetta.
Right.
Now, Panetta is a Clinton supporter, but he has been very critical of both she and her husband throughout this campaign. It's not exactly like he's in the inner circle at the Clinton camp. And the other name there was the former Clinton campaign manager who'd been fired and who a couple of weeks ago said that she was looking forward to supporting Senator Obama. I mean, it's sort of like, let's pick the person who's critical of you and then the person you got rid of and demonstrated disloyalty, and that's how we're going to begin our effort to reach out to you.
Yeah, but there is a bit of a method to the perceived madness, right? I talked to a number of Obama supporters, Karl, who tell me off the record, here's why we don't want to concede points to the Clintons, Neil. Because we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. We do a deal, like Karl Rove says, on Michigan and Florida. They'll run with it and steal this thing. That's their honest view.
Sure.
That's their honest view.
Look, I accept that, but it just shows to me he's a cautious politician. He's not a confident individual. I mean, you look at the map.
Well, if he had a 500 or 600 delegate lead, he wouldn't have to be.
Well, but look, he's got I think the actual number on the AP going into the weekend was 175 with over 200 superdelegates uncommitted. Who thinks that anything more than a handful of those superdelegates are going to be for Clinton? Virtually all of them are going to be for Obama. So he ought to be confident and bold. That's what you need to be in a presidential candidate, to be cautious and restrained, and then also looking for the little, the personal little petty act to take, which is what they did.
Well, what their argument has been, Karl, is that, look, the fact that we conceded what we did on 2 states that were told that they couldn't sit in the convention because they moved early, we more than met her halfway.
Well, let me just put it this way. In the polls, she's winning Florida comfortably, and he's losing it to Senator McCain. And I think the difference is because she's been seen as an advocate for Florida, and this has been received in Florida as a sign that he's not serious about their state.
All right, I do want to address the VP talk, but I do want to more focus on Barack Obama, these 7 delegates away. Everyone's math is a little inconsistent. Right. Of course, ours is always right. But, I mean, what do you make of that it becomes a moot point after tonight?
Yeah, and look, he wants to be able to stand up there in Minneapolis and say, in essence, I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party. Everybody knows that he's going to be the nominee. It's just a question that when does he pass numerically. I think they may have also looked at it and said, you know what, it is better for us to push those superdelegates out on Tuesday morning rather than Wednesday morning, because that way we secure the nomination apparently with the votes of ordinary people in Montana and South Dakota, not by securing the nomination by a high-profile endorsement by a bunch of office holders and party strap hangers.
Well, that's how it would look if he loses, right, tonight?
Well, look, he's going to win tonight.
Yeah.
The question is, out of those 31 delegates, is he going to get 20, or is he going to get 16, or is he going to get 22?
He'll certainly get more than 7.
That's right.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break here. Karl, thanks for sticking around. We've been telling you about this conversation that Hillary Clinton reportedly had. It was a teleconference with some of her top congressional supporters saying that, you know what, I know I've been running for the last couple of years for the highest office in the land, but man, oh man, I'm open to the second highest office in the land. after this.
They say a man should always dress for the job he wants. So why am I dressed up like a pirate in this restaurant? It's all because some hacker stole my identity. Now I'm in here every evening serving chowder and iced tea. Should have gone to freecreditreport.com. I could have seen this coming at me like an atom bomb. They monitor your credit and send you email alerts, so you don't end up selling fish to tourists in t-shirts.
Offer applies with enrollment and Triple Advantage.
Prescription drug prices. Everyone's talking about it.
But now we can actually do something about them.
Go to Walmart.
At Walmart, the prices are unbeatable.
Over 300 prescriptions are just $4 for a 30-day supply.
And the convenient 90-day supply is now only $10.
I looked at the receipt and I thought it was a mistake.
The pharmacist just smiled and said,
That's what everyone says.
Save money, live better, Walmart.
Who's that? Oh yeah, that's me before I lost 41 pounds on Nutrisystem. See ya!
With the all-new Nutrisystem Advanced program, you can eat great and lose weight on our best weight loss program ever.
I know I'm not your average gal. I love sports. Football. How many girls could do that?
The all-new program that lets you eat carbs, is heart healthy, and even helps fight hunger.
I got this body eating pizza, burgers, even chocolate.
Through this special offer, you can get an extra 3 weeks of meals free. For about $10 a day, you'll enjoy 4 weeks of perfectly portioned meals delivered right to your door. And your shipping is free.
But I love Nutrisystem because it's easy and it works. It's as simple as that.
See how Nutrisystem can change your body. And you can get a full 3 weeks of food absolutely free.
Get Nutrisystem and score.
Call now 877-472-DIET and find out how you can get 3 weeks absolutely free.
Well, the big question on everyone's mind today is how are we going to continue to obtain the supplies of energy that we need while caring for the environment? It's an important question because energy is required for economic growth. It's critical to maintain our standard of living and to also lift the standard of living for the rest of the world. Significant breakthroughs in technology are going to be required to meet those challenges. We have to develop all the options available to us and manage greenhouse gas emissions. Technology is the lifeblood of our company, but it's not just the technology, it's technology in the hands of people. It takes a whole cast of dedicated scientists and engineers, over 14,000 in our company alone, and a steady stream of those scientists and engineers, new talent coming in all the time with new ideas, new innovations. It's really their dedication, their commitment that will allow us to meet this energy challenge in the future.
Happiness is fat money. The pudgier, the portlier, the porkier, the better. Until August 15th, get an even chunkier rate of 3.50% APY. That's 9 times the national savings average. And watch your money get fatter with HSBCDirect.com. Open an online savings account and say goodbye to skinny savings. Brought to you by HSBC, the world's local bank.
All right, well, Hillary Clinton is open to the VP spot as Barack Obama is now seen just 7 delegates away from taking the Democratic ticket for the presidency of the United States. Top Clinton aide Terry McAuliffe telling Fox News that Ms. Clinton is open to anything. Those are his words, quoting her words. Back with us now, former White House advisor, Fox News political contributor Karl Rove. What do you think of that ticket? Could it happen?
I think it's very weird. I think it's very weird how it's happening today. I mean, look, the final primaries are tonight, and she's sort of sending a shot across his bow. I mean, he's about ready to become the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party officially, semi-officially, having got a majority of the delegates, and she's sort of intruding into his party by saying, okay, now you got to make a decision. I'm offering you to be your vice presidential running mate. Deal with that on the night that you want to try.
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't done that way, Carl. Maybe someone asked her, hey, would you be open to this? And it makes it look like,
Could be. But there are more artful ways to avoid that question, particularly tonight, to say, look, I'm focused on bringing this thing. There's plenty of time for us to think about things later on. But
I know there are strange bedfellows in politics, and you know that, like anyone. But this is one I couldn't see working, because if you're Barack Obama, not only is there the baggage issue to deal with the Clintons period, but you have them both looking over your shoulder.
Yeah,
and I know they bring, and she brings in particular, a lot of support in big swing states that he desperately needs. But does he need the other stuff? Can he win without her?
Yeah, look, that's what he's got to determine. This is the first president. The vice presidential pick is the first presidential decision for every presidential candidate, because if they make it on the terms of what is it that I need to do in order to win the election, they're making a small bore choice. If they're making it in terms of what will make me a more effective president, then they're making a big presidential choice. And the question is, what kind of decision is he going to make? But you're right. I mean, can you imagine if you were Barack Obama and you got elected president and your vice president was Hillary Clinton? How would you deal with Bill Clinton? How would you deal with the fact that there is a lot of tension between those two individuals, that they've said some very ugly things and have obviously both of them come to view each other in a very deeply, antagonistic personal view? I mean, how could you deal with that in the White
Bill
House?
Clinton, Carl, weren't in the picture. Would he be open to it? Because even those who are very powerful before they become vice president are kind of relegated to the back seat when they become vice president. Not across the board, and certainly not with this vice president, Dick Cheney. But Lyndon Johnson comes to mind.
Right.
Very powerful Senate leader, relegated to this young Jack Kennedy's also ran. And of course he became president.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but look, there's always, if you have a vice president who's got an agenda of his or her own, there's always conflict between the staffs, and there's always conflict within the White House. You go back and read, I mean, Kennedy is talking with his brother Bobby about what a jerk, Johnson is, and there's a lot of distaste for the Johnson people in the White House and the Kennedy people, vice versa.
So there would definitely be an agenda here, you think?
Well, I think so. I mean, when have the Clintons not had a self-centered agenda at the heart of everything that they do? I mean, it's who they are.
But if Bill Clinton were not in the picture, would this be easier for Obama?
Oh, sure, it would be easier, but Bill Clinton is in the picture, so it's hypothetical that
See, what I'm thinking, and on Barack Obama, no. I'll roll the dice. I think I can win this without her. But then you risk the wrath of Hillary Clinton and all his supporters who said, at the very least, put her on the ticket. Yeah. She deserves to be on the ticket.
Well, that's why I think if this is true, if it is true that she said this on this telephone call with legislative supporters, I guess in Albany or someplace, if it's true that she said this, then this is her taking a shot at Obama on a night in which he wants to have the limelight to himself and without distractions.
But it wouldn't be the first time weird stuff like that's happened, right? When Ronald Reagan was running and they were talking about a ticket with Gerald Ford.
I was
right?
there. I was there.
Right?
My boss at the time, the governor of Texas, Bill Clements, got together with Henry Kissinger and tried to pull it off.
It was supposed to be a dream ticket. And then they were saying, would we even call him vice president? Would he be co-president? And finally, I think Reagan just said, the hell with it, right?
Well, yeah, and it just came apart.
Is Obama going to come to that moment?
In fact, you know what? I'm not certain Reagan did anything except allow the conversation to go forward, because it occupied the people who might otherwise be pressuring him for somebody else for something that was clearly untenable and that Ford was unlikely to even want to do anyway. I think it was a very smart, cagey move on Reagan's part to let it go forward.
All right, but now Barack Obama can't risk that going forward too long, though, right?
No. Look, remember, he's not going in with an incredibly powerful position. If you take the results, if you don't include Florida and Florida and Michigan, he's got a lead of 387,000 votes out of 35 million cast. With just Florida in, his lead shrinks to 92,000 out of 37 million cast. If you include Florida and Michigan, they've now seated the delegates, so you think you'd have to take into account the people who voted in Florida and Michigan. He's behind by 235,000 votes. I mean, his lead at best is less than 1.1% over her. He doesn't even have 50% of the vote. He's got 48.92% of the vote that's been cast in the Democratic primary thus far.
Let me ask you about the issue of race is going to come up in this campaign. And I always think of, Doug Wilder in Virginia, who was leading by 20-some-odd points in the polls on Election Day, and he won, but it was by, a point or two. So whatever lead that Barack Obama might enjoy nationally in these polls, do you think there's some puffery there?
You know what? He has not been able to move above his final number, but I'm not certain it's because of race. I think America's changed a long while since Doug Wilder was first elected governor in, 1987, and a long time since Bradley ran for governor of California. I think race in this election will be a net positive for Barack Obama. That is to say, more Americans will be inclined to vote for him because it would be such a hopeful and optimistic thing to elect an African American than there are people who say, I won't vote for him because he's black. But I do think the problem that he's got is that at the end of the day, people will look at him and say, do I think he's up for the job? And that's why I think right now, at least thus far through the primary season, he is underpolled, because the undecideds have gone enormously against him.
Let me ask you, as you and I are speaking here, we've learned that the Cardinal in Chicago has removed the Reverend Flagler from his church. This is the guy who had the, poor white Hillary rant. He's been removed
Cardinal
from his
George.
church, right?
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
Well, look, they've been trying to do this for years, because this is not the first time that he has made politically obnoxious and personally offensive remarks like he made in Trinity Church last Sunday. He's been a thorn in the side of the Catholic hierarchy for years. He has routinely gotten himself arrested in left-wing protests. He's been palling around with Farrakhan and with...
So he's nutty.
He's nutty.
Our Republicans are going to make a big deal, even though Obama has left the church, of his association with nuts.
I think ordinary people are looking at this saying, why did you have these associations that lasted decades? Why did you consider... Reverend
You don't think it'll be
Jeremiah
old news by the fall?
I don't think. Look. Here's the deal. I think the nature of campaigns are changing so dramatically. I think people are learning more earlier and retaining it and using it to make a decision more than they might have in previous elections. I think this is why over the last couple of months there's been a steady decline in key voter groups of the perceptions of Barack Obama, because they've seen these associations and they've talked about these questions and raised them themselves. And will somebody return to this later on in the year? Yes, probably so. And will it matter? Yes, it will. Particularly since Barack Obama's campaign is based upon judgment. He believes he has got better judgment to deal with the problems facing America than either Senator Clinton or Senator McCain. And if you make judgment the centerpiece of your campaign, then you open yourself up to people saying, well, what was your judgment like in associating yourself with this person for 20 years?
If you don't mind referring or going back to my inner nerddom here, Carl, the Dow is down over 100 points today. It's been losing a few hundred points over the last few days, largely on this view that, A, we're not over the bank mess yet, that another big one could fail. Just rumors, but you know the markets, how they respond to that. And that there could be more hell to pay. And in other words, the housing crunch drags on. I'm going to be talking to Bob Toll, the big home builder on Fox Business Network, about this issue. He thinks it will drag on. And that there is a predisposal on the part of Americans now, this is what Toll is saying, for federal help. And that more people deserve, need, are going to start demanding either tax incentives or the like to resurrect housing. Now, he has a vested interest, of course.
Well, the home,
but that this being a political issue this fall.
I think it depends. The home builders want a special tax provision that gives them a chance to carry their losses back further and longer forward.
Well, this is even besides that.
And I think that sort of the bailout of some home builders and some banks and some lenders would be problematic. The question is the vast number of people who have bought a house they could afford and have struggled to make certain that they could afford that house. How are they going to react when somebody says, we wanted some money out of your pocket in order to help some other people? Are they going to look at those people and say, those are people worthy of my support? Or are they going to say, there are too many people in that group who bought too big a house or speculated, or bought a second home and couldn't afford it?
That's very interesting. In other words, you would roll the dice and say, there is going to be this great sporadic silent majority type who are against these bailouts, against the talk of helping folks out, that there are a lot of folks paying their bills who will say, no.
I think it depends on the solution. If somebody comes up with a solution that is aimed at a group of people who need forbearance and temporary assistance in order to make their way through this problem, I think people are going to say, fine. But if the general perception is...
If it carries $100 or $200 or $300 billion price tag, I don't think so.
Right, yeah. When it gets to that big, then people are going to be saying, well, you know what, you're getting that guy who got the second home or the bigger home or that person who bought in Las
Carl,
Vegas.
that'll be Barack Obama in that first debate with Carl Rove. See that? Why did I do that? That was subliminal, wasn't it?
Subliminal.
I should watch myself.
Subliminal.
All right, but if John McCain is saying no to bailouts and you have Barack Obama saying, yeah, bailouts, we've got to help these people out who've been screwed in this process. McCain says no. He says yes. You're rolling the dice thinking McCain's got the better argument?
Well, I don't know. It depends, again, on where we are when those debates roll around in October. Is the economy moving up a little bit, and how much of this is now behind us?
Well,
and
we know from 92 perception is delayed.
Yeah, and what about the attitude of the person who's sitting there saying, I'm making my mortgage payment, and you're telling me to bail out the guy who bought that nice house in Las Vegas on a whim or a bet that it would always go up? We'll see.
Carl, my friend, thank you. Always good seeing you.
Thank you, Neil.
All right, we have the guy who broke that VP news on Hillary after this.
Growing a business takes time. But if you're distracted with little problems, you're not focused on the big picture. Quest provides integrated voice, data, and network solutions, giving you time back to make sure your business can reach its potential. Get Quest. Get nimble.
Chloe is 9 months old.
She is the greatest thing ever.
One little smile, one little laugh. Anybody? We would do anything for her. My name is Kim Bryant, and my husband and I made a will on LegalZoom.
It was really easy to do.
We created LegalZoom to help you take care of the ones you love. Go to LegalZoom.com today and complete your will in minutes. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side. When I was a young man, I would hit that ball straight over the tree and onto the green. Of course, when I was a young man, that tree was only a few feet tall.
Trust your own judgment. Make it happen. RBS, the Royal Bank of Scotland Group.
We have an enormous challenge facing us. With the increased demand for energy in the world, there is a growing concern about the risk of climate change.
There is a huge surge of population, notably in the developing world, where people want access to power and transportation fuels.
And with that comes a need to find technology to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
One of the best things that we could do is to be efficient in the use of our energy. The less energy we use, the less impact there is on the environment.
We work with a number of companies looking at efficient engines for the future, new fuels for the future.
We also work on new advances in our lithium-ion battery technology.
And this is the battery that will power the electric motor in the hybrid vehicle. It's more affordable, it lasts longer, and it's safer.
It's a sort of breakthrough that could help put a lot more hybrids on the road. Energy has to be used in the most efficient way to meet the needs of our lives, but also to minimize the impact on the environment.
Okay, you've heard this once or twice, maybe in the past couple hours, but Hillary Clinton is willing to take the #2 spot if it helps the Democrats. Now, Politico.com broke this news. Politico's Aman Javaz is joining me right now. Also here is Larry Sabato. Larry is the director of UVA's Center for Politics, also picking this apart. So, Aman, to you first, what do we know about this?
Well, here's what we're reporting as of this afternoon. Hillary Clinton was on a conference call. My colleague Ben Smith was the first one to report this, I believe, on our blog at Politico.com, with other legislators from New York State, in which they asked her about the possibility of being a vice presidential nominee for Barack Obama.
So they asked her first. She didn't volunteer the information. They asked her about
it. Right.
Okay.
She was responding to a question from Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, and she didn't shoot it down, which puts her basically in a hugely different place than she was just 24 hours ago, where she was insisting she was in this to win it and she was running for the presidency, not the vice presidency. Now she's saying to at least her fellow New York State Democrats, well, you know, I'm open to the possibility of being a vice presidential nominee if that's good for the party. That's a big shift in tone for the Clinton folks, and it's really an acknowledgement by Hillary Clinton herself that this thing is coming to an end, and she's starting to think about other options for her political future. It's a big deal.
Larry, what do you make of this big deal?
Well, I don't think it's a big deal. I hate to disagree.
All right, let's cut Larry's mic right now.
No, it's perfectly obvious that, and everybody's known this for some time. First of all, Obama was going to win the nomination. That's been clear for weeks. Second, it's also clear that Hillary Clinton would want the vice presidency to put her right in line to run for president either in 2012 if Obama lost or 2016 if he won. It just makes sense.
Okay, so Larry, then play it out. I cannot envision, but you're obviously a political expert, Barack Obama offering her the spot. And I know sometimes politicians make strange bedfellows. John Kennedy did that with LBJ, and they ripped each other on the stump and all that. Nevertheless, it came to pass. But I just can't see this happening ever. Can you?
Well, look, if Barack Obama is convinced by his staff and pollsters that the only way he can win is by putting Hillary Clinton on the ticket, you'd better believe he'll bite the bullet and put her on. I don't think that's going to be the situation. I think, given what she said, he's going to say anybody would be proud to have Hillary Clinton on the ticket. She's obviously on the short list. Well, when do you make this decision? You make it many weeks from now, probably in July or August, and this will all die down and the emotions and the anger will cool, and then he'll pick somebody else.
All right. I've heard from a lot of the very rabid Hillary Clinton supporters who feel their candidate has been treated very unfairly, some of whom have said on this air, I'm going to go to John McCain. They have kind of held back a little bit if Barack Obama makes her his running mate. So if he does what I suspect will happen and what Larry predicts will happen and picks someone else, they're not going to be happy campers, are they?
They're not going to be happy in the short term, absolutely. But that's what my grandmother used to call cutting off your nose to spite your face, right? I mean, what the Barack Obama team is going to have to do here is make the case to those disaffected Hillary voters. Look, you might not have gotten your first choice as the Democratic nominee, but John McCain is much worse for you. He disagrees with you on issue X, issue Y, issue Z, and go down the list and convince those people to get back on the bus with them and go into November.
I don't know. Here's the thing, and Larry, maybe help me with this. It's visceral with a lot of these folks I talk to. This isn't like a short-lived temper thing. Larry, the ones I talk to, it's bigger than that, is it?
No, they're intense about it, but Neil, remember, the whole history of the human race tells us people get mad and they get over it. All right, it's early June.
Not me. I live with a slight, and I live with it for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm Italian. I carry grudges forever. I'm Italian, but most people aren't. And the truth is, I think that the anger is going to cool, and people are just going to move forward, and they will accept Barack Obama's choice because he's quickly going to establish himself as the head of his party, the way all nominees do.
All right. Guys, I want to thank you both very, very much. Again, for those of you who just joined us, Barack Obama, 7 delegates away now from being the first African-American nominee for president of the United States. Hillary Clinton apparently would love to be his number 2. No reaction from the Obama folks. A very interesting phenomenon we had on this show yesterday. Your reaction today.
American woman. Where are you from? New York City.
What makes investor satisfaction a reality? Excellent customer service, $7 online trades, over 300 branches. How about being awarded for it? Scottrade, ranked highest in investor satisfaction with online investing services by J.D. Power & Associates. Get satisfied, get Scottrade.
At 6:30 in the morning, I have a cigarette, and then another on my way to work. At 10 on the dot, like clockwork, I have to go out for a smoke. And then I grab another after lunch. For me, smoking is more than just a habit. It's an addiction to nicotine. You know, quitting isn't easy. And when willpower isn't enough, it's time to talk to your doctor.
If you want to quit smoking, there's something you can do. Go to mytimetoquit.com or call 1-866-590-9500 to get the information you need to make the most out of your conversation with your doctor. You can also sign up to receive tips on quitting and find out more about a prescription treatment option.
It's 11:35, and it's my time to quit. Hi, Katie. Come on in.
Make it your time. Go to mytimetoquit.com or call 1-866-590-9500 now.
If you have difficulty getting in and out of the tub, you don't have to worry anymore. Premier Bathrooms brings freedom and safety to your life.
Yeah, we were afraid of someone falling in the tub and having an accident.
There's no uncertainty about stepping in. It's very safe.
Makes me feel that I don't have to worry about her.
Premier Bathrooms custom bath enclosures are easy to step into. Feature sturdy hand grips and safety bars, secure locking mechanisms, and contoured seating.
Well, it was marvelous. Very relaxed.
Just wonderful.
Rejuvenate yourself with Premier Bathrooms hydrotherapy jets. You don't have to fear slipping and falling anymore. Call Premier Bathrooms for yourself or call for someone you love. Call now and Premier Bathrooms will send you a free information kit.
Call 1-866-663-5353.
Attention all victims of the prescription heart medication Digitech. Some Digitech tablets have been found to contain twice the approved levels of its active ingredient, posing a serious and sometimes fatal risk for all patients. If you have suffered a serious injury or if someone you love has died after taking this defective drug, you may be eligible to file a claim against the manufacturer. Call 888-411-LAWS. Call the law firm of Whites & Luxembourg today to explore your legal options. Whites & Luxembourg, what a law firm should be.
$7 trades are just part of our story.
It's great rate CDs, mutual funds, no fee IRAs. They got it all.
Hey, whatever you need.
The Democrats are throwing the election away. For what? An inadequate black male who would not have been running had it not been a white woman that was running for president.
What if she were the running mate for Barack Obama?
I would not vote for the ticket.
Why?
Because I still feel that Obama does not have the qualifications to steal the election away from Hillary Clinton.
You can argue her point, but no doubting this. Harriet Christian's become a YouTube sensation. More than 1 million hits of her memorable rant against the DNC for whacking Hillary Clinton. It seems like just as many emails from her exclusive appearance with me. Larry Anderson emails, I think her comments are sexist and racist, and she appears to be the same crybaby as Hillary. Greta Hawthorne in North Carolina, Cavuto, I told you so. The American people have had enough. I plan to join Harriet, and I am black. Billy Beecham in Greenville. Cavuto, this lady is a hero. She is dead right. I'm not racist, but she's right. Tyler Shaw emails, news update for the women upset about Obama leading of the delegates. I know who I voted for and why, so I guess I'm one of the blacks in that 99% of blacks she was talking about. Prime example of a sore loser and Americans' fear of a black man in the White House. Bill Michael in Texas, thank you for conducting the interview with professionalism, interest, kindness, and class. I feel the exact same as Mrs. Clinton does. I applaud her for standing up and speaking out. I also applaud Fox News for its detailed coverage of this topic. Arlen Moss in Wisconsin, sadly, I will never watch your show or any show on Fox News again. Your interview with the sexist bigot was obvious, pathetic, and undecidedly unchristian. John Brown in Maryland, Neil, unlike the YouTube rant, your interview today demonstrated Ms. Christian is a very highly intelligent and committed person and is but one of the many who are sick and tired of the way the Democratic Party has promoted racial issues over gender ones. I believe she's right. The backlash will give McCain a landslide win over Obama in November. Rusty in Arkansas, who was that loudmouth old bag on your show who was bitching at the DNC? Who the hell is she in the grand scheme of things? Or Doyle of Texas, Neil, I don't think I've ever seen you so soft-spoken in an interview. I think you were afraid to tick off Harriet. You didn't want her wrath turned on you. Laura emails, I wanted to thank you for being so respectful during your interview. You've won a new viewer in California. And Ron in Illinois, Neil, haven't seen your program in about a year until today. It seems you've evolved into a jerk. Also, you look like you were about to go to sleep all during the show. All right, we're learning right now that Barack Obama has now clinched the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States. Again, he has amassed the necessary delegates. This is according to the folks at Associated Press, to already become the Democratic nominee for president. If that is so, he would be the first African American to head a presidential ticket in American history. Again, this is even ahead of the results from tonight's primaries in South Dakota and Montana. Primaries he is expected to win, primaries that have 31 delegates at stake. but already indications are it is a moot point, and those are moot primaries. Barack Obama will be the Democratic standard bearer for the highest office in the land. Now, this was also happening on a day that Hillary Clinton was getting quizzed by her financial supporters about the likelihood of keeping the fight going or entertaining other possibilities. Now, one of those possibilities raised by a congresswoman in New York was her openness to the number 2 spot on the ticket. Now, this did not involve any opinion on the part of Barack Obama, just Hillary Clinton saying that she, yes, would be open to that. The Obama folks have not responded to that. Barack Obama instead focusing on tonight's primaries that have all of a sudden not become the definitive issue they were thought to be going into tonight. If the Associated Press is right, and this count is something we can confirm separately here at Fox, and Barack Obama has amassed enough superdelegates to add to his total delegate count of 2,118 necessary votes to secure the Democratic nomination, this talk about who heads the ticket or who seconds it is really not the issue. For the time being, the issue that was galvanizing a great deal of interest earlier today was Hillary Clinton's apparent interest in the number 2 spot. So in a nutshell, we've come down to this. The woman who was by far the front, the front runner for the Democratic nomination has now all but ceded the race, and the numbers now have concluded the race. She is out. He is in. She, at best, is hoping for the number 2 spot. Barack Obama has the number 1. Politics.
This is America's election headquarters.
Good evening, everyone. It is a huge night, and I'm Megyn Kelly.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Good evening. It may be wrapped up in a matter of hours, we're hearing.
Reports tonight that Barack Obama has clinched the Democratic presidential nomination thanks to the delegates already pledged to him and those about to make their support public. This while the 2 final primary states continue voting in Montana and in South Dakota.
Yeah, if you've been watching us over the last 90 minutes, so much to cover, so little time. Let's get right to it. In the field now. 4 years ago, he was the first African-American man from Illinois to win a U.S. Senate seat. Today, nearly 16 months after announcing his candidacy for the White House, Barack Obama is on the verge of becoming the first African-American to effectively clinch the Democratic presidential nomination. So then, what does Hillary Clinton do? Is she getting ready to concede later tonight? Absolutely not, says her campaign chair earlier today. But huge news crossing the wires a short time ago. Clinton is now saying that she is open to helping Democrats win in November in any way possible. That was an answer she gave after she was asked if she would like to be on Obama's ticket. First, we start live. Fox's Steve Brown in New York City, where Hillary Clinton speaks a bit later tonight. First, Steve, address all this talk that was flying around the past 2 hours about her being on a ticket with Obama. What is the campaign saying about that?
Yeah, another really busy day. The campaign is saying that reports describing a conference call this way are accurate, and those reports kind of go this way. There was a conference call today, Senator Clinton and supporters, Democratic lawmakers here in New York State, during which there was a portion of the conversation. One of the persons on the conference call, one of the supporters, expressed anxiety about whether or not a Democratic ticket that Hillary Clinton was not on could attract enough Hispanic voters in order for the Democrats to carry the White House. It was at that particular point, we were told from multiple sources now, that Clinton said that she was open to doing whatever she could to make sure that the Democrats took the White House, and that was interpreted as she was open to it. What the campaign further clarifies and say is that she's not necessarily interested in the job. She's merely open to it. This is all in concern about party unity, campaign unity, and pulling it all together. Less concerned about those issues is a gentleman by the name of Jim Clyburn, representative from South Carolina, the senior African-American in the House of Representatives. He endorsed Obama today. He said, listen, there's not going to be a unanimous decision here, but there will be unity. He says there's a difference between the two, and people need to catch on with it. And then consider this. The last campaign event was yesterday in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for Hillary Clinton. It was a rare one in which all 3 Clintons, Hillary, Bill, and Chelsea, were all on stage. The question is whether or not that was the last presidential campaign event for Hillary Clinton. We'll find out hopefully fairly soon, just hours from now.
In a lot of anticipation for that speech tonight where you are in Manhattan. Steve Brown, thanks, here in New York City. Now Megan with more.
And now to Fox's Major Garrett, who is live at Obama headquarters in St. Paul, Minnesota. Major, is Obama expected to declare victory tonight?
Let me give you a short answer. Yes, and here's why. Let me work our audience through the mathematics. Right now, the Obama campaign in Chicago says it's 27.5 delegates away from clinching the nomination. Why is there a half delegate in there? Well, remember on Saturday, the Rules Committee seated all Florida delegates, but only gave them each half a vote. So they pick up half with each Florida delegate or superdelegate that endorses Barack Obama. 27.5 is the number at this precise moment, Megan. It keeps shrinking by the hour. Okay, the Obama campaign expects to get 17 to 19 delegates minimum tonight from Montana and South Dakota. Okay, subtract that from 27.5. And there are already 6 superdelegates, 5 uncommitted, 1 in the Hillary Clinton column that have already said publicly when the polls close in Montana and South Dakota, they will endorse the leader in pledged delegates. Quite obviously, that's Barack Obama. Put another 6 and you begin to see how that 27.5 shrinks down to 1.5 by my scorecard. By the end of tonight, or by the time Obama takes the stage here at the XL Center behind me, which, by the way, is where Republicans are going to have their convention and nominate John McCain in the first week in September, Barack Obama will be able to say, I have broken through a historic threshold in American politics. I'm the first African American to become a nominee for the presidency of a major national party. Tonight we're celebrating. He will also be extremely deferential and respectful to Hillary Clinton. The Obama campaign wants to provide maximum space for her to exit this race on her terms. Although this talk about vice presidential running mate possibilities, however the Clinton campaign tries to tamp them down, are not welcome because today the Obama campaign wants this all to be about his achievement and where he hopes to take the country. That's what we'll see tonight on stage and the arena you see just behind me. And the crowd you see developing has been here for the better part of 6 hours. I expect it will fill this place to the rafters quite enthusiastically later on tonight.
Major Garrett will have live reports throughout the evening as our special coverage continues. Major, thanks.
All right, so then will he officially clinch tonight? More importantly, what will he say when that happens? If it does officially, Howard Gutman is with Obama's finance team. Welcome back, Howard. Good evening to you.
Good to see you, Bill.
Would Barack Obama want Hillary Clinton on his team?
Let me say a couple of things about the vice presidency. First of all, it's not going to be decided for quite a while. Second of all, and this will be a shock to most pundits, I think Barack Obama is going to think about not the next 5 months through November, but the next 8 years. Everything I've seen in the last year and a half from Barack has shown he's been running in a way not just to win, but to win in a way that he can effectively govern. And so the considerations that go into picking number 2 are not necessarily going to be about November. Obviously, you'll be concerned some about November, but it's going to be about the way most effectively to govern. That decision is going to be made over the next weeks. And will not be something made quickly. And I think at the time you'll see a ticket emerge that will offer the American people the best hope for the next 8 years, not necessarily the Democratic Party for November.
Well, Howard, as you look down the road then, and you did that quite well, would he want Bill Clinton around the White House for the next 8 years?
Again, the Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Senator Clinton, and Bill Clinton are tremendous assets in the Democratic Party. We're going to want their full help in November, and I suspect they're going to give their full help in November. What role they play, whether that's in the Senate, whether that's in a cabinet position, whether it's in the vice presidency, that stuff can get sorted out over the weeks to come. But ultimately, it's not going to be about how Barack picks. He's going to look towards the next 8 years.
Well, Karl Rove said last hour live on Fox with Neil Cavuto that this whole question-answer session, it was weird. On a day like today. That was the word he used. I mean, is this throwing a wrench into things in some way on the Obama side?
There's 2 ways to look at it. I'd like to give Terry McAuliffe the benefit of the doubt and say that all Senator Clinton meant is she will fully support the Democrat in November. That's important. It's critical for the party. There are going to be cynics in the media who are going to say, did she try to throw a monkey wrench? Was she saying, you're going to be rejecting me, not selecting a vice president? And I don't think we need to be that cynical. I think Senator Clinton deserves the benefit of the doubt that what she was saying was she was supporting the ticket.
Well, I'm not referring to Karl Rove as a cynic, and I'm not talking about him being a TV commentator either. He's a guy who's worked on a number of campaigns. The reason I bring that up is because of comments like these from Bill Clinton that was played earlier today. Listen here.
He had all these people standing up in his church cheering, calling Hillary a white racist, and he didn't do anything about it the first day. He said, well, that's what they do. He gets other people to slime her.
Just take the last part. It gets other people to slime her, Howard. What are we to make of that?
You know, politics is the second greatest contact sport after hockey. There are a lot of elbows thrown. It's part of what happens in a race. But ultimately, the Clinton camp and the Obama camp are a lot closer to each other than either one is to the McCain camp. And that's what you'll see in November.
Well, strap it on and put on more pads and grab a mouthpiece because we've got 5.5 more months of it. Howard Gutman, thank you. Good of you to come back today. Okay, talk to you again. Megan?
Fair and balanced now to the Clinton campaign to concede or not to concede. Clinton's camp says she is not calling it quits tonight. And tonight, she is telling New York lawmakers that she is open to the vice presidential spot, something she has carefully avoided saying until just this afternoon. And earlier, her campaign manager hinting on another network that she is getting ready to throw in the towel any moment now.
I think if Senator Obama gets the number, I think Hillary Clinton will congratulate him and call him the nominee. We haven't gotten to that number yet. There's a lot of issues that Hillary wants to talk about going forward.
Some mixed messages, some believe. So what is Clinton actually going to do tonight? Well, her senior campaign advisor, Kiki McLean, joins us tonight. Hi, Kiki.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How you doing?
Great.
What can we expect tonight? Will she concede if Obama gets to the magic number?
Tonight is really about letting people in South Dakota and Montana finish voting, and we'll have an election night in New York. In her home state with supporters around her, and she'll have a conversation with them and talk to folks about what she believes. There is no plan for a concession tonight.
But if Obama declares victory, which our Major Garrett, who covers the Obama campaign, says he will she accept that?